Okay, I'll call the City of Elkhorn Common Council March 7th, 5:30 meeting to order. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Bruce Lechner,
Here.
Tim Sharota,
Here.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Here.
Ron Dunwoody,
Here.
Scott McClory,
Here.
Ken Meinel,
Here.
Carol Young.
Here.
Anybody here for public comment? No public comment tonight. We'll move on. Consent agenda. We have the council meeting minutes for February 21st, 2022, and special common council meetings on February 23rd, 28th, and March 1st, 2022, and amend the temporary Class B beer license and Class B wine license for the Walworth County Agricultural Society, Walworth County Fair, serving time September 2nd through the 4th, 2022, from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m., which they had, and they want to go till 12 p.m. till 10 p.m. now. And I think that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
We have a motion to approve those? Disapprove?
I move we approve the consent agenda, both items, A and B.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ken, are you abstaining?
I abstain.
Okay. Motion passed. Next, report of city officers. Mayor, I have nothing tonight. Jim?
I have nothing.
New business. This is the second reading, ordinance number 22-02, an ordinance to rezone the northwest corner of I-43 and South Lincoln Street from M2 to A1. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any question or discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed, ordinance number 22-02. Next, we have the onboarding recreation supervisor update. Carl?
Yes, so you can disregard the thing I included in the packet. After consulting with our city attorney, we're gonna go in a different direction. We're gonna have them be a part-time employee up until May. Our recreation supervisor, the person that we have an agreement with for offer of employment, starts on May 17th. And I want them to be involved leading up prior to that, because it is a busy time for the rec department. So we have opted to go a different direction and just kind of have her be involved as a part-time employee leading up to May 17th. And on May 17th, she would be a full-time employee with benefits and everything like that. So that's the update right now.
Any questions for Carl on that? Okay, moving on, discussion and decision on execution of change order number 2 for the 2021 Elkhorn Street Program. You seen that in their packet?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring my thing, so you guys have a question.
You want to discuss any of that, Matt, or bring up any?
Yeah, I could, so out in the Pines, there was, when they first started the mill, the plan was to do a 2-inch mill and an overlay. And when they milled 2 inches, the pavement was virtually gone. So the change order is basically to do shaping and grading. Once you, plan was to mill and fill, which didn't happen, so once you mill the entire asphalt surface off, now you gotta shape that base, and that's what the majority of the extra work is. Mike, did I miss anything on that?
No, essentially, we'd be paying extra for the milling. Yeah, I mean, you kind of summed it up about proper. I mean, one thing I wanted to note was on this project, we will be below the original contract amount, even though this change order is above it, due to some quantity changes and some adjustments that we did in the field. So while it is shown as a positive or an increase, really, ultimately, we're going to be less than the original plan, or budget, I should say, original construction amount.
So I have a question. So who originally did these roads? Do we know? Was that part of the city, or was that part of a different scenario?
It was constructed as a part of the city. Yeah, I mean, that was 20 years ago.
Yes. Yeah, but they wouldn't have paved it. They would have
Right.
subbed it.
Right. Didn't we have anything that would say more than 2 inches?
Yeah, it would have been at least 3.5.
Right.
We've run this more than once.
Of course, there's nobody to look at it
There anymore.
They're long gone.
I believe the plan said 3.5 inches and it was probably more, it was more than 2. But once you get down to, if you have 3, let's say, and you mill out 2, the rest comes up with the mill, just not enough asphalt to properly be able to mill that and pave over. So, and also, you know, if it's not done properly at the time, there could be some gravel that gets brought up into the asphalt itself, so that maybe they tried laying down 3.5, but improperly placed it. You know, there's a lot of different scenarios there, unfortunately.
I do have another question. You said it was actually not gonna cost us really anymore? Is that what, even though the change order says to increase by $35,000, it's not gonna increase by $35,000?
Well, the increase of 35, so it's a little bit, there's a lot to it. So the original amount for the milling of that portion was 23,900, so 24,000 roughly. Due to the extra work, when Matt and I met out in the field to decide what to do, Matt was great coming out and, you know, getting us a quick answer, changing course and doing the right thing. You know, that was a lot of extra work, so it was an increase in the dollar amount we were going to pay for that. So what I was getting at was this change order, this amount will increase the dollar amount of this project. However, because of other factors, not anything to do with this, we are going to be under the original contract was 2.96 million, and we are going to be below that amount. So this change order, when we're completely done, we're gonna have a net of, we're gonna be under the original amount, I guess, just due to quantity changes, some changes that we did in the field, just mostly cost savings throughout the project. I don't know if I'm explaining that properly, but
For road construction projects, you have a lot of undistributed items or units that are used, and at the end of a job, if that item isn't used or the quantity that was reflected in the bid is not used, you end up obviously with somewhat cost savings. So that's what he's referring to. So when you look at the delta from the over-under, you're actually below what the initial construction cost estimate was at bid time.
And I thought I also read in there that they were not going to do, was it Pinecrest or one of the roads they were not gonna do?
So we didn't want to go over the contract amount because we didn't have it budgeted, obviously. So we weren't looking to do that. So the plan was to bring that forward into 2022. So that was incorporated into 2022's budget, was to come back and finish off Pinecrest this calendar year.
We have a motion?
Motion to approve
Order
the
number
change
2.
order.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have any questions or discussion on change order number 2? Roll call, please.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Carol Young, Ken Minell,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Tim Sharota.
Yes.
Motion passed for change order number 2. Thank you, Mike. Next, discussion and recommendation on addition of deputy city clerk. This we just talked about in HR. Do we have a motion? Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Deferring to the chair.
I make a motion on the addition of the deputy city clerk,
That's a part-time position.
part-time.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Motion passed for the part-time deputy city clerk. Next, discussion and recommendation of a part-time community service officer hiring.
I would make a motion to approve the part-time community service officer.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody.
Yes.
Motion passed for the part-time, hiring of a part-time community service officer. Next, we'll adjourn into closed session, and we will reconvene into open session for possible action on closed session items. Do we have a motion to adjourn into closed session?
I'll make that motion to adjourn in the closed session.
Do we have a second? We have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll go into closed session. So, I'll need a motion for approval of the city administrator employment contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the administrator employment agreement with changes.
Second.
Hold on. Hold on. That's what it needs us.
Okay. The motion to approve the contract contingent upon satisfactory results of a drug screen and background check, and that the proper city officials be directed to execute the contract when those two contingencies are satisfied.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion on that?
No.
Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Tim Sharota.
Yes.
Motion passed for the city administrator employment agreement. Next, I'll need a motion for the appointment of Adam Swan as a city administrator.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second.
And that would be the effective date in the contract?
Effective date of April
April
18th, 2022. Is that on your motion?
Yes. Yes.
On the second?
Perfect.
Any questions, discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Ken Minell.
Yes.
Motion passed for appointment of city administrator. Next, DNR litigation have to do with the water plant. Do I have a motion?
My suggested motion for whoever wants to make it would be that the city council authorize the city attorney to complete the resolution in the settlement terms that have been agreed to by myself and the DNR DOJ representatives.
I'll make that motion as the city attorney said.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any question or discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Tim Sharota.
Yes.
Motion passed to have the city attorney move forward with that. Motion to adjourn.
And we should have in the record, congratulations to the boys wrestling team and the girls gymnastics for the great showing this last week.
And adding to that, the Elkhorn Powerlifting Club, they had a state champion and a couple other ones on their teams.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so, first time for that club to be up at state and everything, so. We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
I second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.